Very Okay, so wonderful. Michael, can you share like what you do and what initially motivated you to thinking of sourcing from China, and what were your key goals for this buying trip?
Sure. So I own a commercial demolition company here in Sydney, Australia, and I guess uh, one of the main things that one of the main reasons that we decided to look into originally China and the Canton Fair was to source products that we were currently buying a lot of here in Australia, but we were buying it at retail prices, and we were spending a lot of money on a monthly basis on these products. So I thought to myself, it might be worth going to China, going to the Canton Fair, and trying to source these products myself at a much more competitive price, um, and have the opportunity to make margin on these products that I wasn't actually making in the past. And in my research on the Canton Fair, I came across ChinaDirect Sourcing being the exclusive partner for the Canton Fair in Australia. And obviously, it was my first trip to China, and I didn't know much about how it works in the Canton Fair. Um, and so I reached out to China Direct Sourcing, and I had a meeting with the sales manager, Anne. And me and her had a lovely discussion about what my options were in terms of whether to have just a trade assistant to accompany me during the Canton Fair, or actually execute what you guys call a China buying trip. And after a lot of discussion and talk and investigation, we decided that the China buying trip was more suitable for someone like me who already knew the products that I was already looking to source. And I had a very good idea of exactly what I wanted to achieve. I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe that when people are going to the Canton Fair, I think people still have their options open. They're still willing to like explore different things and find new things. Whereas with the China buying trip, I think it's like when you have specific products that you're already set on, you guys and your team are able to find those manufacturers and find those suppliers prior to actually me coming to China. So it actually cuts a lot of that time out trying to source the manufacturers and find the manufacturers, which was great because when we decided to come, we were able to go visit the factories straight away and start learning about how these products are made, what's available on the market, um, and get much more information. So yeah, it was a fantastic option for me, the China buying trip. Um, and I definitely now that I've come back from China and I've went to the Canton Fair and did the China buying trip, I definitely feel like the China buying trip was they were both great. However, it was definitely the China buying trip was definitely more a direct link to what I was looking for, which was great.
I think, Michael, you're spot on. It's
Mm,
exactly the difference between the Canton Fair and the buying trip. So
mm,
Canton Fair is more so for people are not sure yet and want to
mm.
see what's out there, and it's more of the looking. We call it like window shopping.
Yes,
And the China
yes.
buying trip is someone like you who already knew what's out there. And especially in your scenario, you have a lot of products, but then you need a multiple supplier. And so
Mm,
therefore, when you provide us the detailed product specification with the products, with the image, with all the specification, we were able to find the matching supplier. And
mm.
so then in that way, we can, design your itinerary before you even arrive in China.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So, how did the China Direct Sourcing help you prepare for the trip? Was there anything that stood out in the pre-trip planning?
Yeah, I mean, what was really comforting to know, I mean, obviously going to a foreign country where there's not much English spoken, let's be honest. It was comforting to know that we had that support system from the moment that we landed. So, like, from the moment that we landed, we knew we were getting picked up by our trade assistant. The transport was already organized, the hotel was already organized, the itinerary was already organized with the suppliers that specifically produce and manufacture the products that I was looking for. Um, which it almost felt like a head start, right? It was like a head start, and then having Charmaine, our trade assistant, was really great because obviously there was like a language communication barrier there, and Charmaine was able to um, effectively translate what I was saying to the manufacturers and the suppliers. And obviously, when we're talking about specific details, unfortunately, like Google Translate or these translation apps sometimes don't get it 100% right. So having her understand everything that I was saying in the detail and then being able to communicate to the suppliers was fantastic. Um, Obviously, after we had met them, Charmaine, our trade assistant, then requested for a digital quotation. Um, so it was good. It saved me the time from having to communicate with them directly and saying, "Hey guys, like I need a quotation now." Like once I landed back in Australia, all the quotations that came in. So it was all there. It's all ready to go. And obviously now we're in the next phase now where we're going through like negotiations and specific details and stuff like that now, which you guys are assisting with, which is great because again, that would probably be a pretty hard thing for me to do by myself without you guys. So yeah, that's what I would say that would stand out with the China Direct buying trip. Yeah, that's definitely a massive advantage and definitely cut off a lot of time and energy on my behalf.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Were you able to find the right supplier products during this trip? How did our vetting process impact your confidence in the selection? Did any supplier or factory exceed your expectation?
Yeah, sure. So obviously, as we discussed, I had a lot of products on my list, and a lot of my products are extremely unique, which made I think the task more difficult than normal. I believe you could correct me if I'm wrong here, but what was good was we had a few options. So in the 4 days where we had Charmaine, our trade assistant, um, we went to multiple manufacturers on each day. So um, say we had like 25 products on our list. We had um, maybe about in total, I think about we visited almost 10 suppliers. And out of the 10, I would say eight of them, 7 to 8 of them were extremely suitable for what we're looking for, and the other two they could manufacture these products, but they don't specialize in it. Now, um, so I mean, look, there is obviously room to explore some manufacturers that are more specialized in that product. Uh, uh, but like I said again, these are specialized products. But for the most part, yes, we connected with some manufacturers that we definitely like exactly they provided exactly what we're looking for. For example, the hollow board floor protection that we have, the supplier that we met for that literally had the most perfect product for us. So that was what I believed was going to be one of the hardest products to find. So to have that manufacturer sourced from the beginning um, was really amazing because off the bat, they took 5 products off our list of 25 that they could do internally, which was fantastic. Um, Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Well, it was how did we vetting process impact your confidence in the selection?
Yes. So obviously, just given what I said, once I started to meet the manufacturers that are supplying the exact product I was looking for, I was like, okay, great. I was like, this is, now I know and I have the confidence that this manufacturer, he showed me a sample. He showed me the like for like sample of what I was looking for. So it's like, yes, that's it. So like, there's no more confidence than that, right? That's 100% confidence there. So yeah, that was really good. And yeah, and obviously we're working on a few other manufacturers and a few other suppliers, which I'm sure like we'll get to the bottom of. But yeah, no, it's been really great.
Fantastic. Were there any challenges during the trip? How did the China Direct team help address them?
Well, the first and foremost, the easiest one would have to be the translation part of things. That would definitely have to be uh, the biggest one. I was actually surprised um, at how limited the English language is spoken over there. I thought like it would be more commonly spoken than what it was. So that was definitely a big part. I think second of all, like understanding like the cultural elements of like if you're not a Chinese person and you're not from China and you go to China, there's like a bit of a cultural shock, right? There's like and I think our trade assistant Charmaine helped us understand like a few of the traditions and the cultures there. Especially when it comes to like eating and stuff like that. That was also really good. Um, um, I think that another part was the negotiating and the communication with the suppliers. So, for example, you know, a lot of people who haven't been to China or haven't gone to the Canton Fair, like off the bat, they come and the first question they ask is, "Oh, what's the MOQ and what's the price?" And like that's a very like standard, easy question to ask everyone, right? But no one's really asking, you know, how are these products manufactured? What is the process time? How long have you been in business for? How long has your factory been open? You're not really understanding the supplier or the manufacturer. Like you're just asking the questions that everyone else asks, like what's your MOQ and what's your price? And I think that separates you as a customer. I think a lot of these manufacturers are dealing with people every day, and they deal with many people, and everyone asks them the same questions. But if you come across and you've got the trade assistant there, um, and you're asking the right questions, I think they earn a much greater respect for you because you have done the due diligence. You do have a representative, like a Chinese representative, there with you. You are going to meet them on the factories. You're not just sending them an email asking for like an MOQ and a price, or you're not meeting them at the Canton Fair and just asking. You're actually making the effort to go out to the factory. You're making the effort to learn about their business, see their factories, and I think that's a really good way to build a relationship. So I think that would be I would say that would be the challenges and the advantages that China Direct Sourcing did help with a lot.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Michael. So, what measurable benefits do you anticipate from this trip, such as like a cost saving, quality improvement, or any new partnership, etc.? Would you say the trip met or exceed your expectation, and why?
The trip definitely exceeded my expectations. I, to be honest, I was very hesitant at first. I knew I had a lot on my product list, and I was very hesitant at first. And then, literally in the first day, when I met the manufacturers in the first day, I was like, okay, I was like, yes, we've we've done the right thing here. We've definitely I definitely had that confidence then and there that okay, this is going to turn out to be a really good trip. And then especially with the guys, with the manufacturers that had the exact products I was looking for, um, we were very able uh, then and there to establish that relationship there because um, they once I showed them that confidence that like I yes, these are the manufacturers I want to use, and yes, these are the products. We were then able to establish a really good relationship with those manufacturers, and obviously, this is like a new thing that I'm starting here. So, my MOQs or the quantities that I was looking for were probably much smaller than what these factories want to provide, but because I met them and I went to their factories and we built that relationship. They were happy to negotiate for us. Like they're happy to negotiate those numbers down because we made the effort to actually go and meet them and build those relationships, which obviously has helped me a lot in business because committing to an MOQ of 10,000 quantities is not ideal for my situation right now. Them meeting me halfway and saying, oh, 2,000 or 5,000 really assisted for me from a financial perspective, from an original outlay. Um, so yes, that would have saved me costs. It saved me logistic management, especially when that product comes to my warehouse. Like I wouldn't have even had enough space for all those products in my warehouse. So no, it did exceed my expectations, and I was extremely happy with the choice that I had made, choosing China direct sourcing for the China buying trip, because I know that if I tried to do that myself, I would have failed miserably. So yeah, no, it was very good.
Thank you. Thank you. What would you tell other businesses considering working with China Direct Sourcing? Would you be open to a long-term partnership with us for future sourcing needs? And
Yeah, for
what
sure.
could make the process even better?
Yeah, okay. I definitely would recommend it. No doubt about it. I think I think if someone doesn't use you guys and they don't have experience dealing with manufacturers in China, it's going to be a very difficult task. Like it would be a very difficult task. So I definitely recommend it. Even for the long term perspective, you know, um, there's always going to be some element of quality control or management or negotiations that's going to need to be done at any stage. So, like we're in the process now of our first purchase of goods, and obviously it's going to be a much harder process than the next stages. However, what happens from stage one to stage two is you want to refine those refine those products. You want to maybe get a bigger quantity. You maybe want to negotiate pricing further. You might want to do all these other bits and pieces for the next order and next order and next order after that. So I think having a partner like China Direct Sourcing would really assist in the management of how that gets executed. I think trying to do it yourself is going to be really hard. And you guys have a team in China as well, so that really helps having like men or women on the ground there being able to assist in that manner.
Thank you for really trusting us. We would love to feature your insight and to help others. Is there any like one last sentence you want to share with anyone else?
I mean, it was an amazing experience, and like I can't wait to go back to China now. Like I've already told you, Lindy, I'm coming back in October, and I would love to see you there and Charmaine and even some of the manufacturers that I've met. I became really good friends with some of the manufacturers. We went out on really nice dinners and had some nice drinks and stuff. So I'm really excited to catch up with everyone when I get back there. It is an amazing experience, and I think if anyone is in the market to source products from China, I think this is definitely the best option that's available to anyone in Australia.
Wonderful. Yes, we are actually, I'm going to lead another group of builders and developers to Canton Fair in October. So,
No,
please join us then.
will definitely. You don't have to ask twice. What date, if you don't mind me asking, what are those dates that you're going? Because I've kind of drafted the dates that I was going to go back.
So 22nd of October, and
Uh,
usually we're arriving in China. And then it will start from, usually we go phase two. So for phase two, and then if you decided to come along for this trip again,
yeah,
and yeah, we will send you the details and we will, you let us know what your intention are. We will, again, and you probably can join us for this massive one-on-one session like we did for the other group. Remember, I
yeah,
asked you to extend your trip. You couldn't do
yes,
it.
yeah,
Because in 24th of April, we had a one-on-one session organized by Canton Fair. Instead of
mm,
you go to find them, the Canton Fair actually find the matching supplier, bring them to our room. So
mm,
because we are the official partner with Canton Fair, so they would do that free of charge. They organized a
mm,
huge room and one-on-one session, the supply line up behind each of the buyer. And then
nice.
on 25th, we went to Shenzhen. Shenzhen government organized 132 supplier lined up.
Wow,
And
wow,
yes, and the government provided like the venue, and then bank organized the food, and
wow.
it was amazing experience.
No,
And then each of the buyer have like, you have a buyer profile and you sit
mm,
there, and then the supplier just lined up behind you, 4 or 5 each of those buyers. We had like say 30 buyers, and then we have 132 suppliers waiting. So as you can see, imagine that. So they all very excited to invite us go back in October. So my plan was, I probably will lead another group of buyers go to in October. And then we will have another one, which is from Foshan. Foshan government also excited, want to invite us to go there as well. So we will have 3 organized function. So you can go Canton Fair, then Canton Fair one-on-one, Shenzhen one-on-one, and Foshan one-on-one. And
yeah,
they all
nice.
bring supplier back to us. And it's going to be amazing.
Fantastic. Well, I'm excited. I definitely want to go there for phase one and phase two of Canton Fair in October. So yeah, hopefully we can make everything align.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you we can, what I can do is I can design a trip, and then instead of doing the full China buying trip this time, we can just do the couple of TA, and
Yeah,
based on your needs, we will design the package and cater your needs. Okay,
perfect. That's
wonderful.
exciting.
And then
Yeah,
this time you're going to join me on this trip, and you
yeah.
many other 32 Aussies, all the Aussies,
Yeah.
like afterwards they have a drink and etc. etc.
Uh,
Let me
don't
just
worry, the party doesn't start until like